Okay, yeah, tell me the shortcut key. I can also use that.
Yeah. So can you go to the class?
Yeah, I'm in the
Link HashMap. Yeah, you can hover on link HashMap and press F4.
What? Press?
F4. Function 4.
Okay.
So you should hierarchy.
You're saying the type hierarchy?
Go to that.
No, you're mentioning the type hierarchy. This one.
It's showing the hierarchy when you do that.
It's a minute.
Link with editor right? So you can do. Yeah, so you see the hierarchy, right? Object class, abstract map, hash map.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, usually we do this by clicking right side, beginning of the class. And if you want to use this, you just give a references, right? You can use hierarchy. I never use the shortcut key, but this is one way to check the hierarchy. So basically in your application, wherever using the hierarchy, this way we can actually figure it out, your hierarchy part. But this is something new to me as well. So using the F4 key on the relevant class name can help you to figure out the hierarchy part. Janaki, you got this shortcut key?
Yes, Neha.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so we are here. So now coming to the previous key value next. So how will your hash value get created? Like what all things we need to consider when we create the hash? Okay, a quick question. Why do we need a hash key here every time? What is the purpose of generate hash key? A option, insertion to be faster. B option, just for reference.
So insertion to be faster.
Yeah. So basically, the instead of having the indexes, you have all the key value and the next address and everything together combined in a single hash code, so that the references, like whatever operation you're performing on that on top of that particular list or set, basically set, it will be easy for you to perform better. Whereas in case of indexing, it will be very minimal. So that is the reason the time complexity for set and map would be more better. And that is the reason we prefer that than array list. Okay, so can I use this linked hash map in a threaded environment? So my question is, can I use the hash set or linked hash set in my multi-threaded environment?
Okay.
Okay, is my hash set supported for multi-thread environment?
I think no. Do you have synchronous blocks?
It's not supportive here. Okay. In case of linked hash set?
It should be the same, right? It's not be supported.
Yeah. So can someone tell me like what is a thread supported set?
Multiple threads can work on the same connection at the same time.
No. Like in the list, we had vector, right?
Yeah, vector.
Vector, and we had the copy on write array list, which was really supporting me on the thread platform, multi-threaded platform. Same thing in case of set, which will help me on these three are the things which we have known right now. Apart from this, do we have any other set that can help me in supporting the multi-threaded concept?
I don't have any idea about it.
Okay. Janaki?
Map set?
What's it?
No. Map set is different, or it also falls under the same category?
Do we have map set?
Only hash map we have, right?
No. The hash set internally uses hash map.
Hash map.
Reset, remap, linked hash set, linked hash map. Okay. So to support something with multi-threaded environment, will my hash set, the usual way of you are inserting the data into a set object. Will these three classes help me, or there's something different classes which we have?
Yeah, I see one copy on write array set.
Copy and write array.
Array set
Okay.
should be thread safe, right?
Okay. So what are the classes we can think of? Maybe you can give a try.
And skip list set.
Huh?
I see concurrence skip list set.
Concurrent. Sorry, tell me again the name which you said.
Concurrent skip list set.
Okay. So for all your collections, right, like list, set, and map, we have something called a parent class like concurrence, synchronized collections. So which will help you to support in your multi-threaded environment. So which is actually implementing your actual interface of collection, but internally this will support all your multi-threaded options, whatever we may basically look for to avoid the deadlock situations. Everything would be taken care because this particular class is a inner class. So we never learned the term inner class so far in our concept. So this I will cover up in some time, not by today, maybe, but you just inner class is like the structure would look like, say, some class name. And within the class, usually we have all your attributes, methods, static methods, public methods, private methods, and everything. Now, inside a class, we'll have another class, which will be a static class. So, which is again some Y class, and which will be within the class itself. So, this inner class is like a class within a class, but you don't need to create an object for this because it's a static class. So, this is called as inner class. Inner class, or sometimes we make it as inner anonymous class. The anonymous classes, you don't need to create an object. You just call the relevant methods within that class directly. So most of the advanced program coding standards can have this kind of structure where what they do is instead of creating multiple class names, right? Like student.java, address. So let me take a simple example. Student has name, okay, and he has an address. So if you see address, you'll have road number, city, state, country code, street number, district, area code. So we have like multiple things that specific to your address. So what I'll do, I'll take this as a class instead of an attribute. So same way for student, if you wanted to take any course, right? So that course, he might not be mapped only for one course. He might take many courses. So for each course, you have a course ID, course name, the course duration, and the exams for that. So this can be taken as a separate class. So in that case, whenever I create a Pojo class to represent the student object, I don't need to create separate classes address or separate classes course unless it is something reusable in many places. If it is not reusable and it is only specific to my student class, what I can do, I can make this address as a static class within the student, and the course Java class is a separate static thing. And whenever I wanted to use that, so how will I use it? I create a student reference and I call the relevant address object and I use the get street. That's it. So I don't need to create any object. So I can easily access it. So this information should be enough for us right now to understand what is an inner class. So basically any class within a class, and that can be a static inner class or normal, a private class or a final class. It can be in any format where you don't have a reference of creating an object. Any questions on this one? Inner class?
No, Sneha.
So if you see right now, this is a so this is my class collection. Okay. This is entire thing is class collection. Now in this, if I see this representation of triangle, right? This tells you the inner class representation. If you see this synchronized collection, I have it within the actual class of collection where this class gets end up here. So this is a separate class. It has its own methods and all the attributes which they wanted. So same thing, instead of writing in a separate class name synchronized collection, we are writing within the static named as static class in the same class of collections. So that is the reason if you see, you might see the representation of collections dollar followed by the class name synchronized collection. So it means like it's an anonymous class. You don't need to create separately outside as a separate public class. It can also be something within the same class where we can use it from the same collection class itself. So you can have as many as you want in the normal class. How many classes you want, you can have as many things you want. So all these things doesn't require an object to be created explicitly. The object which you create for your parent representation would be fine to consume all the attributes and all the methods from your inner classes. So this is a way where we don't need to kind of saving the memory and then saving the object creation also. That is the reason we basically go for inner classes. Okay, so why did I go there? Shit, all of a sudden I went there. Before this, what I was mentioning?
Yeah, we were discussing about
Synchronized collection.
Okay, yeah, okay. So for synchronized collection, right, basically like when you use your copy on write array list, as well as for your vector, they are like thread safe. So there are also some more classes. If you wanted to use it for your multi-threaded environment, there's something called concurrent followed by the class names. So let me show that. So you see concurrent hash map. All these again come from util package, but from a different source, which is Java util concurrent. So you have concurrent hash map, you have concurrent linked queue for queue representation. For your list, you have copy and write array list, and for set, you have copy and write array set. Okay, these are all your thread safe classes, which behaves exactly as your set operations. Only thing is, this will be used in your multi-threaded environment to avoid kind of lock issues. That is the only thing we use it. Okay, so if you wanted to check any kind of collections, and that too for your multi-threaded environment, always go and check the concurrent package, not util package. Util package will have your default collection set, whereas in your util concurrent, you have all your concurrent related packages. Any questions over here?
okay.
Yeah. So now coming back to contains. So my object notation for contains is looking into map. So if I go for linked hash map, where your linked hash map uses, so for linked hash set, where if I wanted to use contain method, will the representation of the time complexity would remain same or it will vary? Because I don't have contains method in terms of linked hash set. And why so? And why am I, where should I look for the contains method? Can someone say?
In the parent class hash set.
Okay. So all your relevant child operations can be performed again from your parent child. So where this again goes with the contains. So even in your linked hash map concept, linked hash set concept, when it comes to, you again look for your relevant map key contribution only, because your key will obviously look for your hash code. And this is just, you're not going to remove anything. You're just going to identify whether your entry is present in your set or not. So the complexity for your contains in case of linked hash set would remain as O of 1. Okay. Now coming to removal part. What would be the removal? Let's complete the insertion also. So now what would be the addition part? How do you add data into your linked hash set? Will I be adding again through linked hash set, or will I be dependent on my parent class hash set?
Parent class.
Okay, so in that case, what would be the algorithm used behind for add?
Same of an hash code will be.
So the
used.
map would be your linked hash map representation. So the map, whatever you create, the hash map is again your normal map object, and you're again putting it into your data set, which again looks for your hash code value, where that gets created with your previous key value and next part. And then this creates your data entry in your set object. So what would be the representation, time complexity representation for my linked hash set?
O of 1.
Okay.
Sneha, hash set, it comes from like hash set will have set, right? But linked hash set will be expanded from hash map, right? Like set will have the parent as hash set, and linked hash set will have the parent as hash map. Am I right, Sneha?
No, can you repeat your statement again?
No, this one, like a hash set will have the like how array list have array and linked list. Similarly, hash set will have only the set thing, right? Like we'll have only the set collections under hash set.
Yeah, abstract set collection will be your parent class, but the architecture, the basically how your key value pair is happening, the logic, right? That is your map logic, not your array logic.
Only for the linked hash set, like, but for hash set, it is not the map. Like we will not have
No,
key and
even
value.
for any kind of set, it is map only.
Map only. Oh, okay. So we will have key and value pair only, but key will be hash code here. You see.
No, your key will not be something you use it. That is what I'm saying. So if you see the representation of your hash set class, so whenever you create an object, right, what are you doing here? You're creating a map object. So map is nothing but your hash map. So this map holds your key and value.
Oh, yes,
right? So this map will have key and value pair. Whereas in your hash set, you will not have key, because whenever you add, you just pass the data, right?
Oh, yes.
You'll
And
not
automatically hash code will be generated. We will not.
Yeah, so the key is taken care in the back end. So that is again taken care by your hash code.
Hash code. Okay, got it.
Okay, so there is no dependency when you create your set class that you have to pass the key. That is taken care by the system architecture. By whenever you pass this, whenever I'm giving add, okay, if I go to the hash set class and go for add method, what is happening? The element is present or not, right? You're putting this element, and here the hash code is getting generated with the key. If you don't have key, right? If key is equal to null, I'm creating my own key.
Okay.
Yeah. So so in this phase, you're not responsible to pass key explicitly if you're using hash set or linked hash set or key set. But if you're creating a map object explicitly through your case, you can't go and just add map dot put. Okay, let me show that. So let's say I have map reference equal to new hash map.
Oh, yes, I remember that map, Sneha. We will explicitly give the key and value, like string
Yeah.
and
So you'll not
give
be able to create your map without giving the key.
key value. Yeah, yeah, got
So
it.
you have to use m dot put, and it will accept this. The same thing in case of set, you don't need to do that, right? If you give
Yeah.
set dot put, you don't have that method. You just have add method where you don't need to pass the key. You just need to represent the values in case of set. Because the
Yeah.
key internally is taken care by your hashing algorithm.
Hash.
But in case of map, you are responsible to give a unique key and unique value. Right? There's also one difference I mentioned you for hash map and hash table. You remember? I think you were there on that class.
During hash code and map.
Yeah. Hash table and hash map. I mentioned one difference. Similar to your fail fast and fail safe, I use the same thing for your hash table and hash map. I'm not sure you remember it or not. I want you to recollect that.
Okay.
And now let's go here. So now the add will also be the representation of O of 1 because internally it uses your hash map logic. So the time complexity will again come with the same thing. So what would be the case for removal? Kirba, you can tell me if you have any idea on removal part for linked nested.
Kirba has dropped from the call actually.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. For remove again, we will have some workaround to change. No, anyway, we'll like the previous node address also we need to change, right? If you are removing any of the things. So only the address like hash code we will be pointing out. So no, like it will be same O of 1 for this also for linked list also.
Yeah. So in your case, like for all the removal part, you are not responsible to traverse your entire linked list node. Okay? You don't need to traverse each and every node within your linked list representation. Either you have previous address or either you don't have a single linked list representation. You don't need to traverse every node because internally what is happening, every data is getting maintained in your hash table, right? This is the hash code and this is the key and this is the value. You have already maintained that, right? You remember the representation I used for your hash code?
Yes, Neha.
So every time this part, every time your hash code will have these values, how many nodes you have, that many kind of node representation will have this. So whenever you wanted to access, so whenever you remove, you either remove with your key or you remove with your value. So when you pass a key, obviously the key is unique, right? The hash map cannot have a duplicate key, right?
Yes.
So in that case, identifying a key would be a problem.
No, it won't be a problem.
So in that case, the traversing the entire linked list would be required.
Not much effort, like key will be
Yeah.
unique, so it would be easy to traverse it.
So this would not be more complex because we already have a link between our each node. Like when we compare to your hash set, we didn't have the previous connection, right? But we were having only the next connection. So compared to the hash set, in linked hash set, we have the connectivity between previous and the next. So identifying any particular element would be very easy and you don't need to traverse exactly. You know the previous address, right? Where you want to update your address number. So instead of address number 400, I want to update it to 399 in the previous location. And the next location, instead of 400, I want to update 401. That's it. I don't need to reconnect entire node list, whichever I have in my index position, right? I don't need to change the entire part. I just need to change which element is getting removed, the relevant previous address and the relevant next address. So in the previous address, in case of A, I need to change. That is basically the next address of A has to be changed. And the previous address of the C has to be changed. So I'm responsible only for the immediate node and the previous node values. But that is also very accessible for me because I have the next address immediately, right? So I don't need to look and iterate and I need to hold it somewhere. I don't have that necessity to traverse every time and get that key and value and addresses. So my traversal is not required because I have my hash key already handy.
Yes, Neha. So it will be
in case of hash set, right? Like when you use hash set, There you don't have a link between your previous and next. So my kind of accessing an element would be little tough compared to your linked asset. Did you get my point?
Yes, Neha. Yeah, understood.
Because you have previous in case of linked, so finding is better. Whereas in
But
hash set, you don't have previous. So every time you
only
have to
the
look only
next
for
will
next,
be
right?
next.
So where
Yeah.
the time taking is more higher in case of hash set than in your linked hash set.
Okay.
Okay, it is always easy if you know the
Previous
map
and
to
next.
go where and what is nearby landmark as well as which street. If you just know street and you don't know the landmark, we'll have n number of streets with that name. So when it comes with a unique landmark, it is more easy to compare. Okay, let's have Pondi Bazaar Street. The Pondi Bazaar Street is like we have 4 roads. Okay, but if I say Pondi Bazaar Street next to Spencer Plaza, then that I'll be very easy to identify that street, right?
Yes, Neha. Yes.
So in that case, identifying the things with previous and next cities is more benefit rather than having only my street name.
Next.
This is next address.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. So the time complexity in case of your
Linked.
asset will again be constant time, which is not iteration. It is again a constant, but it is more better compared to your hash set. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. And now this O set will come with O of 1 notation. And in case of thread support, this is again
It
not
will not
supported for your
support.
thread environment because it is not synchronized. Okay. Now the tree set part is alone remaining. So I want you to figure out the complexity for add, remove, contain, set, and thread support for tree set. Okay, we'll see a real-time example with comparator tomorrow, and we'll see the multi-threaded environment supportive classes also tomorrow and the relevant time complexity.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So any questions so far? Are we good till whatever we covered in collections? Because this will be the final part to revisit the collections. I will not come back to collections again.
Yeah, it's clear, like whatever you said today, like array and this one
So
is
revisit
clear.
the collections topic. If you have any questions on this topic, bring it out by this week. We'll wrap it up.
Okay, sure.
Okay? Yeah. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.